Hey there, fourth graders. All right, so today we are going to look at our final video for our 2 units on multiplication. And today is probably the most complicated part of multiplication that we're going to cover. So today we are going to cover the standard algorithm strategy, or the old school strategy for multiplying double digit times double digit numbers. This video goes with lessons 8, 9, and 10. Now, I will tell you that this strategy is the most complicated of the multiplication strategies. It is definitely one where you have a set of rules that you have to follow and a set of steps that you have to follow, and you have to be very specific in how you're following those steps. All right, and so if you're having a hard time remembering the steps, if you're having a hard time following that order, all of that, please stick with one of the previous multiplication strategies that we've learned with either the area model or with the partial products. Because again, the idea is not necessarily what method you're using to get the answer, but that you know how to get the correct answer. There are lots of different strategies to multiplying. There are lots of different strategies to doing math in general. And the idea is that you're picking a strategy that works for how your brain works. Everybody's brain works differently. And so it's really important that you are picking a strategy where you can get a quick and accurate answer most of the time. If you're doing this strategy and you're really having a hard time grasping it, please don't feel frustrated. Use one of your other strategies. And I'm going to show you how we can use those other strategies even within this particular strategy. All right, so let's take a look at a double digit times double digit standard algorithm multiplication problem. Okay, so I have 43 times 67. I'm multiplying 43 times 67. All right, my first step is going to be to multiply the 7 times everything up at the top, just like we did with the standard algorithm for multiplication before, okay? But we're going to ignore this 6 for right now. All right, we're going to use our regrouping strategies, and that's how we're going to work this. So let's do, the first step is to do 7 times 3. 7 times 3 equals 21. So we write our 1 and regroup the 2. And I always circle what I regroup so I see it. And I remember, hey, I gotta add this in. Okay. Now I multiply the 7 times the 4. All right, remember that 4 is actually 40. So that's why the answer is going to go over here in the tens place. 7 times 4 is 28. But I have to add in those 2 more. So 7 times 4 is 28 plus 2 equals 30. All right. Now, we're not done because we ignored the 6, right? So what we have to do now is we have to multiply that 6. So we're going to cross off what I regrouped from the first round because I don't want to get confused. And we have to remember that my 6 is in the tens place. So that 6 actually stands for 60. We're doing 60 times 3 and 60 times 4. Now, if you remember back when I was multiplying and doing partial products, I would go ahead and write that 0 in as a placeholder so I don't forget about it. That's what you need to do here too. So when you're multiplying your tens place, you put a 0 before you multiply. Okay? You just put the 1 0 and that will count for all of it. Okay? So now I'm going to do 6 times 3. 6 times 3 equals 18. I write my 8 right here, and I regroup my 1. And you notice that's why I crossed off what I regrouped before, because I didn't want to be like, oh, which number am I adding in? I forget. And now I do 6 times 4. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 more is 25. And then my last step is to add all of this together. So I have 1 plus 0 equals 1, 0 plus 8 equals 8, 3 plus 5 equals 8, and 2 plus nothing equals 2. So the answer is 2,881. Now, just a little quick aside, especially for any learning coaches that I might have watching this video. This is probably the way that you're the most comfortable multiplying, because this is the only way that we were taught to multiply when we were going through school. But I will tell you, unless your student is just really great with math, this is a very hard way for fourth graders to multiply. This is not really developmentally where their brain's at most of the time yet. And I have watched students do multiplication incorrectly over and over and over again. And this is a really big part of our fourth grade curriculum because they're trying to do this strategy and they're doing it incorrectly. I watch too many students say 7 times 3 is 21, write 21. 6 times 4 is 24, write 24, and have 2,421 as the answer. Well, that's not the answer, right? So it's really important that your student is picking a strategy that works the best for them. This strategy involves a lot of steps, a lot of keeping track of all of those steps, a lot of remembering all of those steps. And so it's really, really, really important that if they don't get this, it's okay. It is okay. They do not have to do this strategy. They can pick one of the other strategies for multiplication. And I want to show you why. Okay, let's say that there's a problem and they have to fill in, like there's a box right here and they have to fill that in. All right, let's look at our area model. Remember, I told you the area model is my personal favorite. All right, and I have 43 and 67. Okay, right here, I would do 40 times 60. Okay, and I would have, that would equal 2,400. And right here, I would have 3 times 60. 3 times 6 is 18 with a 0 on the end. Here I have 40 times 7, it's 280. And here I have 3 times 7, and that's 21. All right. Now, I just have to add all 4 of these numbers together, right? Well, if you're looking, here's my 40, where I was multiplying over here, and here's my 3, where I was multiplying over here, right? Let's look at what I can do. I can add across or I can add down. Watch what happens when I add across. All right, I have 2,580 up here, and I have 301 down here. Do you notice what I have over here as my partial products? 2,580, 301. All right, they're written in the opposite order, but that's because, think about it up here. I multiplied my biggest numbers together. Well, where did I multiply 40 times 60? I multiplied that with the second time, right? So if I had to do this, I'd be like, well, I know this top number is going to be the smaller number when I add across. So what's my smaller number? 301. That could go right there. So you can still use the area model to help you fill in, if you had to do like a fill in the blank for the standard algorithm. All right, you're actually doing the same exact thing. This way, you're just having to keep track of a whole lot more rules as opposed to this way. Let me show you one more example of that. All right, I'm going to go through the standard algorithm again one more time. I'm also going to go through the area model again with the same problem so you can see what we're doing. All right, let's say I have 52 times 91. 52 times 91. All right, standard algorithm, 52 times 91. I'm going to stack them up. Remember, first I multiply the 1 times everything and I ignore my 9. Sometimes I even like to just cover it up. All right, 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 5 is 5. All right, and now I have to multiply my 9. I've finished with my 1. Now I'm multiplying with my 9. And remember, my 9 is not a 9. It's in the tens place, so it's a 90. So I have to drop my 0. All right, and then I do 9 times 2 equals 18. So I write my 8 and regroup my 1. And 9 times 5 is 45, plus 1 more is 46. And then I add it together. All right, 5 plus 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Write the 3, regroup the 1. 1 plus 6 is 7, and 4 plus nothing is 4. So I got 4,732. Now, I was able to do that pretty quickly because I understand the strategy and I understand what I'm doing. Most students, when I watch them work through this, don't work through it quite that quickly. Again, there are some students that are just really great with math and really great with understanding the steps and rules and things like that. And if that's your student, then this strategy is a great strategy to use. But if that's not your student, and that is, I'm going to tell you, not most fourth grade students, that's okay. All right. It's okay if your student doesn't understand the strategy. It's okay because there are other strategies that we can use. Remember, we can do our area model. And we're doing the exact same thing with the area model that we're doing over here. We have 52 and 91. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just breaking it up into smaller parts. And watch how quickly I can do this, because this is one thing I hear is that this strategy takes longer than this strategy. It doesn't. 50 times 90, well, 5 times 9 is 45, and I have 2 zeros. 90 times 2 is 180 because 2 times 9 is 18 with a 0. And again, I'm explaining as I'm doing this, so it's taking me a little longer. All right, 50 times 1, that's easy. That's 50. And 2 times 1 is 2. I can add straight across here. I get 52. I can add straight across here. I get 4,680. Notice, same numbers, both places. And when I add those together, it would have been better if I had lined it up, but that's okay. I get 2. That's 13, regroup by 1, 7, 4. All right, same partial products as over here. So the area model, I'm doing the same exact thing, just broken up a little bit more in a way that's a little bit better for students' brains to understand, but it translates directly to the standard algorithm. So when they're ready for it, and they will be ready for it eventually. When they're ready for it, it's nice and easy to be able to see how that translates and how it's related, how you're doing the same strategy. It just looks different. And that's the whole thing with these different strategies. You're doing the same thing. It just looks a little different. All right. So right there's our standard algorithm. Remember, we multiply the number in the ones place. You have to remember your regrouping. Then we drop our 0, multiply the number in the tens place. Remember your regrouping. Add together, and you get your product. If you have any questions, please ask your math teacher. This video goes with lessons 8, 9, and 10. Again, if this strategy is too complicated, you can still use your area model or partial products to do lessons 8, 9, and 10 because you're still multiplying and you're still getting the right answer. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will see you in the next unit. Bye.